What is going on, everyone? We are back with the next review, and in this one, we're reviewing Patient Seven's Banishing story. Before we get into that, though, I just want to take a second to remind everyone that if you're watching this on YouTube, you could be watching this on Patreon a week earlier. So if this is something that you would like to have as up to date as possible in terms of my opinions and what we're watching, be sure to go over to Patreon, sign up for the Patreon. I'm actually going to have to put the link in the description below. I don't think I've been doing that up to this point. Anyways, guys, let's continue with our review. So, this is one of the last 3 stories of Patient 7. We've got 2 more stories after this, and this was probably my new favorite one. It was really well done. So, this is directed by Erlinger Throdson. That definitely sounds Norse and that name sounds Norse. Um, Written by J.C. Heldrick and Brian McCauley, and produced by J.C. Heldrick. The description for in the Wikipedia says it's a girl's sister is haunted by a strange, terrifying woman. Oh my god, dude, this was so well done. This is my favorite story so far that we've covered, period, in anything that we've done here up to this point. Obviously, something will supplant it at some point. So, the Banishing is basically you have this woman, or it starts off with the burial of this dog, and the mom's like, whoever did this to this dog is just sick. And it's definitely the family pet. So, as mom walks away, the older sister asks the younger sister, "Did you, or I'm sorry, we went into this too quick. We got to talk about the frame narrative that leads up to it." So they bring this girl in, and she apparently hasn't talked to anyone in a long time, since she's been committed into the psych ward. As she's committed into the psych ward, bye Gil. Again, she hasn't talked to anyone, so she decides that she's going to, or he decides he's going to try and hypnotize her. If she allows it, she knocks, letting him allow it. He gets hypnotized, then it goes into the story. Anyways, so after the burial of the dog, the big sister turns, and mom walks away. Big sister turns around to little sister and is like, "Hey, did you do this?" And the little sister's like, "She made me do it." And the big sister's like, "Oh, well." Big sister doesn't believe in what I'm guessing is like this what she feels is this fake being that's controlling this girl or whatever. She thinks the sister's just crazy. But she starts noticing some things. The little girl starts talking about how, or basically starts doing weird things like. So she starts off looking up imaginary friends on the internet, and then she sees her sister just staring off into nothingness. So she looks up, can people be haunted, and how to cure people from being haunted. And mom's going out on a date or goes out with somebody. I don't remember exactly where she was going right offhand. But after she leaves the house, the entire living room is, or area that the little girl was sitting in is just flipped and turned inside out, completely like destroyed. So the big sister sets up a process where she's about to go into, or she's going to try and cast a spell to get rid of this evil woman. And they do the salt circle thing, which according to classic like lore, the creature of evil, and this should have been the cue. A creature of evil is not supposed to be able to cross over a salt circle or cross over a line of salt. But the lady pulls the little girl out of the salt circle, because again, it's supposed to ward off evil spirits. And maybe that's where my initial confusion was. If you watch the thing, I'm like, but she's not supposed to be able to reach in. It's because she's not an evil spirit. We find that out. She pulls the little girl across. The older sister banishes the evil spirit. I don't know where I gotta do that at. The evil spirit. And all is well. The little girl goes to bed. And The mom comes home, goes to bed herself. All of a sudden, the older sister has a dream of the evil spirit coming and being like, I was trying to stop her. And she wakes up and she notices that her sister isn't in the bed. And for a second, you're led to believe, what are you talking about? You were trying to stop her because she looks evil. She looks like this evil spirit. She goes into her mom's room. Mom's dead, bloody mess. You look over and the little girl is dragging a shovel. And the little girl's like, she made the same sounds that the dog made, whatever the dog's name was. I wonder what sounds you'll make. And then you see the shovel come into the camera. And then that's over. She comes out of it back into the frame narrative. She comes out of it screaming. The hand, the aides, the I don't know, the nurses, I guess, the nurse aides run in, and they're trying to figure out what's wrong. They're about to sedate her. The doctor's like, no, don't sedate her. I need her to come to on her own. And the girl's like, what did I tell you? What all do you know? And the guy's like, that's one of the best sessions I've had since we've been here. And he straight up looks at her and he's like, and they go to sedate her again. He's like, no, don't sedate her. I need her to come to grips with what she's done because she is a complete and utter psychopath. And she needs to realize that she's a psychopath. And the girl starts screaming and wailing, and then they drag her off ready for the next story. And dude, the way this... Okay. The anatomy and the psychology of a story is one of my favorite things to look into. For those of you that don't know, I caught a lot of shit. And obviously, people will be people. Twitter will be Twitter. A couple years ago, they put out a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre that was Netflix made. It was put out on Netflix, and it caught a lot of crap. And obviously, there are certain things that I'm not going to say people were wrong about. The lady they got to act as Sally Hardesty, even though the original lady couldn't do it. I think the original lady that played the role passed away, so she couldn't come back to reprise that role. Either that or she just really didn't want to do it, but I'm pretty sure she'd passed away. I don't remember which reason why exactly. But the lady that they brought in, while she's a decent actress, and I've seen her in other things, and I've got no problem, she didn't really capture the essence of Sally Hardesty very well. However, that's really one of the only complaints I've personally got with the movie. I still liked the fact that the character was in it because it plays credence into the psychology of the film. And I'm not going to sit here and go into detail because this isn't about that specifically. But one of the reasons that I really loved that movie, and it's very high up in my rankings of Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, is because of the psychology that has been built around the movie. There's just little things psychology-wise where, like, Leatherface, when he kills one of the victims, he covers her face, which is a very... victim or killers tend to do that when they actually have at least some remorse for what they've done. So it's they don't want to be looked at because it's really weird. So it kind of tells you that he didn't really want to kill that specific person because that specific person's one of the few people that's tried to help him, but he's a killer, so he's not going to not do it. So yeah, this was just such a good story. And again, it's the psychology of it. Like, you don't think it's those moments where when I'm watching it and I'm like, well, how can the evil spirit reach into the salt circle and pull her out? Because the evil spirit's not an evil spirit. It's the girl is evil, and the spirit is trying to stop her from doing this heinous shit. And the little girl's been lying, saying, this girl's made me do it. It's so well done. So well done. Bravo to the best story on this movie so far. We've got 2 more stories for this movie. I'm excited to see where this goes. I just hope it ends with some insanity because the next one's called Death Scenes. No, the next thing you're going to see on this channel, besides this, or the next watch along is a Goosebumps episode. The next one for this will be 2 or 3 days later. It depends on, I believe it's 2 days later. It depends on what day of the week this falls on. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it. It was a good time. Love you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.